Okay, hands. This one is the one that everybody is like super stressed out about, how to pose hands. So we're going to take a look at, this is mostly going to be a lot of do's and don'ts, and then I'll just demo some with her. And I can tell you, one big thing that people mess up with hands is the posture thing, because they put hands in the face and then all you see is arm and elbow. So leaning forward makes a huge difference, and it has nothing to do with hands, but it does because it's what's closest to the camera at that point. So that's a big one that I see in portraits. So for women, you want soft and relaxed. For men, the most important thing for men is to keep their hands occupied. Okay, so at weddings, for example, I'm just going to hold that for a second. At weddings, I see this nonstop. Guys pose like that. They look, yeah, you know. So you have to, the biggest thing for guys is you have to tell them what to do with their hands. Otherwise it's uncomfortable or they put them where they shouldn't be. Anyway, so women. All right, let's take a look. So one of the things I said was trying the hands caress. So if you want the person's hand to be on, say, their shoulder, I don't tell them to do this. I would say, do this. I would have them actually drag their hand across their chest to their shoulder. Or if I want their hand in their hair, you tell people to put their hand in their hair. Usually, not always, but when they say put your hand in your hair, they usually do this. I mean, that's really common. They'll do kind of something like this or like this, and that's awful. But instead, if you say, I want you to just trace your index finger around the side of your face and just rest it in your hair. You know, or drag your hand around the side of your hair and then just soft and kind of intertwine your fingers a little bit. Like something like that. Or have your hand, and I'm going to have you put it behind your neck and then just drag it down, low, 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 stop there. Instead of people do this when you say put it behind your neck. I kind of give people movements for their hands versus telling them to place it. Because you don't, in real life, place your hands. You trace your hands. So that usually works out better for me. So I'm going to just give you the big do's and don'ts of hands. And I think this is also a big one for when you are editing your photos. Like going through and picking out what works and what doesn't work is knowing what to look for. So you can rest if you'd like. So I'm going to point to these. Okay. So these are obviously exaggerated examples, but they're really important ones. The fingers shouldn't be straight because your fingers aren't straight when you're standing there. They're of soft curve to them. Yeah, robot fingers. So what you want to do is I always have people just wiggle their fingers. I say wiggle your fingers and place them back on your face. So someone's really stressed, because some people will do that. They'll be stressed. I'll say, okay, all I want you to do is wiggle your fingers and then place them down real soft. Okay, wiggle your fingers and just trace them around your face real soft. That's kind of how I direct people to give me the hands that I want. Okay, another one. Watch out for hands actually covering the jawline. And I see this often in portraits of girls that are sitting and they cup the jawline. Now, at least if they have one side of the face visible, you can see the jaw, but let's say this is the side closest to the camera. There's no jawline visible, and we want to see jawlines as photographers. It's flattering. So for something like this, there are two things you can do when the hand's obscuring the jawline. You can lower it and soften it, or give it a little bit of a cup. You shouldn't actually have your hand completely flat on your face. When you say to people, put your hand on your face, they put their hand on their face. Instead, I do the wiggle of the fingers and set your hand right soft. It's kind of in the wording. They're trying to please you, so they want to do exactly what you say. Put your hand on your face, they do that. So real soft, set your hand on your face, and I always have them lower it maybe just a little bit. You can also put the hand back to their neck, just a little bit. And then the other thing that you can do as well is put it on the other side of the face. So in this instance, she's turning towards me. She puts her hand up. I can't see any jawline. Plus, I mean, her hand looks pretty huge here. It's dominating the frame. So instead, if she's turned, actually just putting her hand to the far side of the frame gives you a much more pleasing photograph. So that was something I would consider as well.